Every word you speak carries energy, emotion, and intention. The tone, timing, and truth behind your words determine how people feel around you. When you speak with confidence, calmness, and clarity, your presence becomes magnetic. People are naturally drawn to the energy that feels grounded and genuine, not desperate or scattered. Every word you speak is energy. It carries your emotion, your confidence, your truth, and your state of mind. It doesn't just communicate what you mean, it communicates who you are. Words build or break attraction because people don't just listen, they feel, they sense the vibration behind what you say, and that energy decides whether they move closer or pull away. When you speak with peace in your tone, when your words come from emotional control, not emotional chaos, you create a space that feels safe, powerful, and magnetic. People lean in, not because you're loud or dramatic, but because your energy feels different. It feels calm, real, and rare. Your energy introduces you before your words ever do. The way you talk reveals yourself, belief, your wounds, your strength, and your presence. Every tone you use either invites or intimidates, heals or hurts, attracts or pushes away. Your words are mirrors reflecting how you feel about yourself. That's why someone with quiet confidence can say almost nothing and still hold everyone's attention, while someone loud can talk endlessly and be ignored. It's not the volume, it's the vibration. When you speak with honesty, without over-explaining or defending, you emit certainty, and certainty is irresistible. People crave the energy of someone who knows who they are, someone who doesn't need to prove, chase, or convince. Every sentence you say from that place hits differently. It lands deeper, it builds respect, it creates attraction that lasts. The power in your words is not in the sound, it's in the emotion that rides with it. Say something with resentment and it carries poison. Say it with peace and it carries purpose. That's why you can't say the same words but have two completely different results, because energy speaks louder than language. The wrong tone can destroy a right message, but the right tone can turn silence into connection. People remember how you made them feel, not what you said. Your words are simply the vehicle. The energy behind them is the driver. If you speak from anxiety, people will feel tension. If you speak from calm assurance, they'll feel grounded. Your words can become a mirror of safety or a storm of insecurity, and the choice is yours in every moment. Magnetic people understand this truth. They don't rush their words. They let silence carry weight. They speak with awareness. They pause before reacting because they know that emotional control is more attractive than emotional intensity. They master their tone like a sculptor shapes stone, knowing that what they leave out is as powerful as what they say, and every time they open their mouth, they reinforce their value instead of begging for it. When you understand that your words are energy, you stop wasting them on chaos. You start using them to align, to connect, to elevate. You stop trying to you can't attract what you don't believe you deserve. Attraction begins long before anyone sees you. It starts in the silence of your own thoughts, in the way you speak to yourself, in the energy you carry when no one is watching. People feel your self-worth before you ever open your mouth. They sense it in your posture, your tone, your stillness, your boundaries, the way you exist without begging for validation. That quiet confidence becomes your most powerful language. When you are connected to yourself, when you value your own presence, others are naturally drawn to it. They feel the security in your energy. They notice how you don't chase attention because you already have your own. You no longer need anyone to choose you because you've already chosen yourself. And that energy is magnetic. It's calm but commanding. It's humble but unshakable. It tells the world you know your worth without ever saying a word. Self-connection means knowing your truth even when people misunderstand it. It means standing tall in rooms that test your confidence. It means smiling without pretending, walking away without guilt, and loving without losing yourself. People are not drawn to perfection. They're drawn to peace. They're drawn to the kind of person who can sit in silence and still feel complete, who doesn't crumble when ignored, who doesn't overgive just to be noticed, because that kind of strength radiates attraction that no amount of looks can match. The world mirrors what you project. If you walk in desperation, you'll attract resistance. If you walk in self-assurance, you'll attract respect. Everything around you responds to the frequency of your belief. When you stop needing others to define your value, your energy shifts. You start to become the person people feel safe around, inspired by, connected to, because you no longer drain them with need, you feed them with peace, and that's what makes you unforgettable. Connection with yourself means you don't perform to be accepted, you don't shrink to be liked, you don't chase to be chosen. You simply exist in your truth and let the right people find you there. You stop negotiating your worth for temporary attention. You stop explaining your soul to those committed to misunderstanding it. You stop running after energy that never runs toward you, and in doing so, you reclaim your power, the same power that fuels real attraction. When you love yourself deeply, you stop fearing loss, you stop comparing, you stop waiting for approval, because your fulfillment no longer depends on someone's presence or absence. It depends on your alignment with who you are, and that alignment is magnetic. It glows through your eyes, it's heard in your voice, it's seen in your patience, it's felt in your stillness. You become a walking reminder of what peace looks like, and people can't help but be drawn to that energy. You attract what reflects your level of self-respect. When you heal, you draw in those who honor healing. When you grow, you attract those who inspire growth. When you love yourself without condition, you invite love that doesn't require performance. Your energy becomes the filter. It protects you from the shallow and pulls in the deep. It teaches people how to treat you without you ever asking. It's not arrogance, it's alignment, and alignment creates connection stronger than any words ever could. The truth is, self-connection doesn't make you harder to love, it makes you impossible to forget, because when you know yourself, you no longer compete for attention, you command respect, you no longer chase love, you become love, and that's where magnetic attraction begins, not from trying to be enough for someone else, but from finally realizing you already are. Silence is not weakness. Silence is presence, it's control, it's the unspoken confidence that says more than any sentence ever could. When you master silence, you master energy, because silence carries power that words can't touch. It reveals strength, depth, and emotional discipline, the ability to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to let a moment settle before filling it with noise. That's the kind of restraint that makes people lean in instead of pulling away. Most people fear silence because they fear being misunderstood, they fear losing control, they fear that quiet means weakness. But the truth is, silence exposes everything. It exposes who is comfortable with themselves and who isn't. It reveals who needs chaos to feel alive and who finds peace in stillness. When you can sit in silence without needing to fill it, you show the world that you are not desperate to be seen. You are confident enough to let your energy speak for you. There's a different kind of power in the person who doesn't rush to respond, who doesn't chase validation through words, who allows time to do the talking. That person's silence speaks of emotional maturity, of self-awareness, of strength that doesn't scream for attention. Silence disarms people because it removes their control. It forces them to feel their own energy. It holds a mirror to their emotions, and in that reflection, they sense your calm dominance, your balance, your grounded presence. When you stop reacting immediately, when you hold your peace in moments that test you, you become magnetic because the world is loud. Everyone is shouting to be heard, and yet here you are, calm, focused, unbothered. Your silence cuts through the noise like a blade of truth. It tells people that you don't need to compete for space. You already own it. You don't need to win every argument. You've already mastered yourself, and that's the highest form of control. Silence creates curiosity, it builds tension in the right way, it makes people wonder what you're thinking, it invites them to pay attention. It shifts power from reaction to observation, because the one who can stay quiet holds the room. Silence lets your absence speak volumes. It allows mystery to breathe, and mystery is one of the strongest forces of attraction. It's not manipulation, it's mastery, knowing that you don't have to give everything away to be understood. When you speak less, every word gains value, people listen more carefully, they respect your voice because it's not wasted on meaningless noise. Your silence teaches them that your energy is sacred. that your words are intentional, that your peace is your boundary. It creates an aura that people can't define but can't ignore. It's the energy that makes others adjust their tone when they speak to you because your calm demands respect without ever asking for it. Silence also protects your power. It stops you from saying things that drain your energy. It keeps you from reacting in ways that lower your vibration. It gives you time to observe, to understand, to decide what truly deserves your response. You stop speaking from emotion and start responding from wisdom. That's when you gain control of every interaction, because while others are reacting to chaos, you're anchored in clarity, and that stability is magnetic. When you can sit in silence and still feel complete, you become untouchable, because silence means you no longer need noise to feel alive. You no longer chase validation through explanation. You no longer prove your worth through words. Your presence becomes your proof. Your peace becomes your language. Your silence becomes your strength. And that kind of energy doesn't chase attention. It attracts it effortlessly because silence, when mastered, becomes the loudest voice in the room. Confidence without control is the art of letting your energy speak louder than your effort. It's knowing that power doesn't come from force, it comes from presence. The moment you stop trying to control every outcome, every person, every situation, you unlock a strength that feels effortless. Because true confidence is never loud, it's calm, it's steady, it's rooted in the quiet knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay, and that energy draws people in like gravity. When you live in control, you live in fear, because control is a disguise for insecurity. It's the mind's way of saying, I don't trust myself to handle uncertainty. But when you release control, you release fear, and what replaces it is freedom, the kind that makes you magnetic because people can feel when you're trying too hard, they can sense when you're performing, chasing, or manipulating outcomes, and that energy repels. But when you trust your own worth enough to let things flow, that energy attracts effortlessly. Confidence means you don't force connection, you don't beg for clarity, you don't chase understanding from those not ready to give it. You simply show up as yourself and allow the right people to recognize it. Control makes you tense. Confidence makes you peaceful. Control needs validation. Confidence creates it. When you let go of needing to be chosen, needing to be right, needing to win, you step into an energy that says, I am enough, with or without the outcome. And that kind of peace is irresistible. People are drawn to those who are comfortable with uncertainty, who can stand still in the unknown without losing their center, because that calm is rare, that ease is powerful. Confidence is not about having everything figured out, it's about trusting that you can handle it when it comes. It's walking into every situation without pretending, without chasing, without fear, and still holding your energy like it's sacred, because it is, and when you do, people sense it immediately. Control is heavy, it drains your spirit, it makes you reactive, it creates tension in your words, in your body, in your energy, but confidence is light, it flows, it listens, it observes, it attracts. When you stop trying to predict people's responses or outcomes, you start living in truth, and truth always creates attraction, because authenticity is magnetic. There's nothing more powerful than someone who can stand in their truth without trying to force it on anyone else. The most confident people are the ones who can let go. They can walk away from what disturbs their peace without anger. They can love deeply without losing their identity. They can express emotion without losing control. That balance is the definition of emotional mastery. And people feel that energy like oxygen because it doesn't take from them. It gives. It doesn't demand connection. It invites it. And the more you trust yourself, the less you'll need to control anyone else. When you trust timing, when you believe that what's meant for you will recognize your energy, you move differently, you speak differently, you stop proving, you stop chasing, you stop needing constant reassurance. Your calm becomes your attraction, your stillness becomes your confidence, and your energy becomes your language. People start to feel safer around you. They start to mirror your composure, and suddenly you're not the one chasing peace, you're the one creating it. Confidence without control is freedom. It's self-respect turned into energy. It's trust expressed through stillness. It's the quiet reminder that real power doesn't demand, it doesn't beg, it doesn't fear losing anything, because what's real never leaves. And when you move from that truth, you stop chasing attention and start commanding it, because calm confidence is the most magnetic force in the world. It needs nothing, yet it attracts everything. The 4 words that change everything are simple but carry power deeper than most people realize. I've got this, still. These words hold calm strength, the kind of energy that doesn't shake when life does. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the quiet reminder that even in the middle of uncertainty, chaos, rejection, or pain, you still stand, you still rise, you still choose peace over panic. It's the energy that turns storms into lessons and fear into focus, because those 4 words pull you back into yourself when everything tries to pull you out. When you say, "I've got this," still, you reclaim authority over your emotions. You tell your mind that panic has no power here. You remind your heart that peace isn't lost, it's just buried under noise. These words reset your vibration instantly. They quiet the need to control and awaken the truth that you are built to handle whatever unfolds. Confidence doesn't mean never feeling shaken. It means knowing how to center yourself again and again, because stability doesn't come from your surroundings, it comes from your mindset. You don't need to prove these words to anyone. You live them. You show them in how you respond, how you breathe through pressure, how you speak less and feel more. That calm makes people feel something powerful. They can sense your self-trust, your inner safety, and that's what makes you magnetic, because the world is full of noise, and those who carry peace become impossible to ignore. You can walk into any room, and your energy will announce, "I'm not here to control, I'm here to be." And that unshakable presence changes everything. Those 4 words aren't about pretending to be strong, they're about remembering that strength already lives within you. They keep you from collapsing into fear, from overreacting to things that don't deserve your energy. They ground you in moments that test your patience. They remind you that peace is power, that composure is confidence, that stillness is strength. You don't need to prove your worth when you embody it. You don't need to fight for validation when your energy already declares it. "I've got this" still teaches you to find calm when things don't make sense, to keep your focus when emotions want to take over, to respond from wisdom, not wounds. It builds an aura around you that speaks louder than words ever could, because people feel that energy before they understand it. They see the steadiness in your eyes, the grace in your silence, the confidence in your posture. They feel drawn to your peace because it's something the world doesn't offer often. It's rare, and rarity is magnetic. Every time you whisper those words to yourself, you shift from reaction to intention, from chaos to clarity, from need to knowing. It's like resetting your emotional compass. It reminds you that no matter what leaves, no matter who stays, no matter how uncertain things feel, you remain whole, you remain grounded, you remain you, and nothing has more attractive energy than someone who is calm in their own storm, who doesn't beg for peace because they've already found it within. Those words are your anchor, your power statement, your emotional reset. They separate you from the crowd because they give you balance when everyone else is breaking. They remind you that peace isn't something you chase, it's something you choose. You can face rejection, loss, or misunderstanding and still carry grace, because you know that what's meant for you cannot be taken, and what isn't meant for you will only drain your spirit. That realization frees you from fear, and freedom is the purest form of attraction. So when everything around you starts to fall apart, when doubt whispers in your ear, when people misunderstand your calm as indifference, just breathe, stand tall, and remind yourself, "I've got this" still, because those words are not just a phrase, they're a vibration, a declaration, a truth that no one can take from you, and the moment you believe them, your energy changes, your presence expands, and the world feels your peace before you even speak. In the end, magnetic attraction isn't about chasing, convincing, or performing. It's about energy, presence, and peace. It's about the way your words carry truth, the way your silence commands attention, the way your confidence doesn't need control, and the way your calm says more than your voice ever could. Real attraction begins the moment you connect with yourself, when you stop needing approval and start embodying alignment, when you understand that power isn't loud, it's grounded, it's steady, it's quiet. The secret isn't in doing more, it's in being more, being centered, being authentic, being emotionally aware. Your energy introduces you before your words ever do, and when your energy says, "I got this still," the world feels it. People are drawn to the peace they can't find within themselves. They're drawn to those who radiate stability, truth, and calm, because that energy heals, it inspires, it leads. Without forcing, it attracts without trying. Attraction built on control fades. Attraction built on energy lasts because energy doesn't lie. It's felt before it's seen, and when your words, your silence,